So this is a big legal setback for the Trump administration, and what has happened is this. A federal judge has ordered for a halt on the deployment of the National Guard troops in capital Washington, D.C. The district judge, Gia Cobb, an appointee of the former President Joe Biden, has ordered for an end to the deployment after finding it unlawful. The judge ruled that the Trump administration had overstepped its authority by bringing the National Guard troops from out of the state to patrol the capital. However, she paused her ruling until the 11th of December to allow for the Trump administration to file an appeal. Now, on the 11th of August, Trump had ordered for more than 2,000 National Guard troops to patrol Washington, claiming that the city was a filthy and crime-ridden embarrassment. This is what he's talking about, the capital city of the United States of America. Now, earlier Trump had said that National Guard troops to the Democratic-run Los Angeles and Memphis to combat crime and to help enforce his crackdown on undocumented migrants. The federal judges have temporarily blocked the deployment of the troops in two other Democrat-controlled cities, that is Chicago and Portland. And the American Supreme Court is expected to deliver the final word pretty soon on whether the actions are lawful. Now, Trump's extraordinary domestic use of the National Guard was also challenged by California earlier this year, while a district court judge had ruled it unlawful. An appeals court panel had allowed the Los Angeles deployment to proceed. Now, Trump has denied charges that he's strictly targeting cities that are run by his political opponents for his anti-crime campaign and immigration crackdown. All right, my colleague Susan Tehrani is still with us from New York. So, Susan, this is something that's going to be seen as a clear legal setback for the Trump administration, where he wanted to deploy the National Guard to Washington, D.C., a city that he's calling a crime-infested city, the capital city of the United States of America. But is Donald Trump actually overstepping, his jurisdiction? Because a lot of the cities that he's talking about, which are said to be crime-infested, that he wants to crack down on immigration, they're all appear to be Democrat, that is the opposition-ruled cities and states. Why is he not sending the National Guard to the Republican states?
Well, he could send the National Guard to Republican states, and that wouldn't cause so much controversy, because usually the Republican governors and also mayors of those cities and states would be open to that, and they would actually openly ask for it. There have been a number of Republican states where he's mentioned, but that hasn't happened. But you're right, half of it has to do with politics, another half has to do with the fact that most of these blue states, and New York is one of them, they have very lax criminal laws and bail laws. So crime seems to be more rampant because of just the judicial makeup and the way that crime is being treated and punished in these states and cities. Not all of them, but the majority of them. So that's the Trump administration's justification. But nonetheless, as you mentioned, we saw the D.C. Attorney General file a lawsuit against the Trump administration to this judge. And this federal judge said that because we know that National Guards are deployed in Washington, D.C. right now as we speak, and there is just a debate on whether or not they've actually helped or hurt the situation on the ground. But nonetheless, the judge didn't say that they have to pack up right away and leave. What it's saying is, we'll give you about 21 days or even more until the Trump administration is able to appeal this ruling. So the story continues, the legal work continues, and the debate over the National Guards and whether or not they should be deployed or not continues. Just one very quickly, I want to say Cobb found that while the president does have the authority to protect federal functioning and property, he can't unilaterally deploy the D.C. National Guard to help with crime control. So the president has the authority to protect federal buildings, but this seems to be a lot more vast and not so comfortable for these leaders in these cities.
Interesting. We'll have to see as to how this case, of course, unfolds. Thank you very much indeed, Susan Tehrani, for joining us from New York and getting us all those details there.